So what can we learn here in Suffolk with our co-production hub from other parts of the world?
Well, I don't know if there's that much difference, but what I find is the best way to go about co-production is to get as many people as you can from different, not just different disciplines. That's also very important. If we're looking at, say, an intervention to support people's mental health with cardiovascular patients, I'm not just about the cardiovascular patients and their carers. It's involving the nurses, it's involving the cardiologists. If it's these days, we've moved very much into the digital area, and so it's about involving IT, it's about involving technical companies, and it's about getting them all around the table at the same time together.
I really like the sound of that. Yeah. That's how it works though, isn't it? It's got to work that way. All those elements round together.
Yeah, round together. Because I suppose what some people do is they'll get those people together and they'll engage them in focus groups, which is great, but sometimes they do it separately, thinking these are a particular group and we need to hear their side of the story, and it wouldn't make sense to match them up with, say, technical people or people who are developing even the artificial intelligence side of things. At the moment we've got a heart failure avatar called Dr. Me that we're rolling out in Suffolk, and to get that across the line, we definitely started with everyone around the table. At first, I can tell you, there were lots of conversations that we were thinking people were speaking different languages.
Yeah.
But over time, we managed to break down those barriers.
That's where education comes in, isn't it? As we work with different sectors, it's education of how to communicate in an effective way so that co-production can happen, and people are able to be honest and open about how they feel and the ideas they have, and then feel respected as well within that environment. So I can imagine when lots of different professionals from different areas are coming together in that way, it could start off tricky and then become easier and easier as the approach is more.
And I guess the idea is the fact that you've got all those elements together at the beginning there, you're kind of ironing out all these things ahead of time, and because everyone's doing it together at the same time, it's kind of more efficient, isn't it? Rather than having to go out to this section, out to that section of feedback. If you're all together at the same time, it just ticks all those boxes all at once, doesn't it?
Yeah. I don't know if we meant to do it like that, but we just all ended up in a room together, and all of a sudden the clinicians knew exactly what they needed from the avatar, and the IT technical AI people knew exactly what they needed, and we were telling each other, but we were not understanding each other. So it was a very interesting experience, because that conversation went on for almost an hour and a half until someone said, we're stopping now. And then we went back to the drawing board, and then we said, okay, let's start to write this down. What do you actually need? And the technical people are very good at using flow charts. And then the clinicians went, oh, okay, I can fill those boxes in the flow chart. And then over time we started to understand. But it was like two different languages.
Yeah, but imagine if you hadn't had that co-production and you hadn't have had that process, how much further down the line would you have been before somebody had said, I really don't know what this is about?
Yeah, absolutely. And we wouldn't have been getting it just right for longer than that.
So co-production brings your work stream time down from months to an hour and a half.
Great example.
Yeah, and that's really interesting, because a lot of people think that it's time consuming, especially with research, to get people together to run focus groups, to analyse that data, to analyse it properly, qualitatively synthesise it. But really, like as you've just said, it can cut down on the time.
Yeah, find the problems ahead of time, hopefully. Yeah.